Hello everyone, I'm Julie and today we're talking about the top 8 things that you should never decorate your home with and what to use instead. Over 18 years in the industry and I have seen some good and bad design. And while I do love a good timeless trend, there are some decor items that stay on our radar, but they don't necessarily add any style or functionality to our space. I'm here to tell you that you could do better. After watching today's video, I hope you'll have a better understanding of all the decorating mistakes that you might not even know you're making and be inspired by the endless options out there. We're just going to jump right into this list. The first item that you should never be decorating with is plastic furniture. We're talking about exposed plastic furniture that you're using right in your living room or dining room. We're talking about those plastic living room chairs, those plastic folding dining chairs, acrylic furniture, plastic consoles, accent tables. Yes, get rid of all of those Tupperware bins that are lining your bedrooms because there are so many better options out there than the Tupperware aisle in your local dollar store. Plastic furniture is one of those filler pieces that you might have added to your home because they just served a really functional purpose. Maybe you needed something really cheap and inexpensive and Walmart was having a sale. It was like buy one, get one 50% off. And then all of a sudden in your bedroom, you have an entire elevation of plastic dressers instead of going out and investing in like a solid wood piece. Plastic furniture just really screams I'm broke, and plastic really should be relegated to behind your cabinets. I'm all for using plastic storage bins and anything plastic, but like hidden behind a closed door. If you want your space to feel a little bit more grown up, a little bit more elevated, definitely more luxurious, and it doesn't look like you are making a decorating mistake, you want to get rid of all of that plastic furniture. Yes, that includes all of the acrylic furniture that was having a hot moment in design. I mean, not even too long ago. You remember about 15 years ago when Baroque and Hollywood Regency was like on the rise, and then all of a sudden, all of these designers and manufacturers were whipping out like all of this acrylic furniture. Those acrylic Louis ghost chairs that you saw at every single wedding reception that year, and then all of a sudden people were bringing it into their homes and they're using it as like dining room furniture. But here's the thing, plastic furniture not only looks cheap, it is cheap. If you've ever tried to sit on a plastic chair, it is not comfortable. Not only is it uncomfortable, it buckles over a lot of weight, it buckles over time, it warps, it chips, it cracks, and it discolors. Typically, budget is a really huge factor when you're deciding to bring in new furniture in your home. I get it, those plastic bins were filler furniture. They really just served a purpose. Okay, now that you know exactly what the purpose is that you need in that room, why not find a more stylish option that has a little bit more longevity, has a little bit more of a timeless appeal, something that you're not afraid to show off, yes, right in the middle of your living room. I love to source secondhand. When I first purchased my home almost 9 years ago, I mean, I was broke. We just made a really huge down payment and we're really gonna invest, another $10,000, $20,000 into brand new furniture. Heck no. Even though we didn't have any kids, we were starting to build this home together. I got rid of all of those cheap plastic bins and I sourced a majority of our furniture on Craigslist. Back then, Craigslist was so hot, and nowadays it's all about OfferUp, FB Market, and of course your local thrift stores and flea markets. The great thing about Facebook Marketplace is once you start to browse a particular item, let's say you're trying to replace the plastic storage bin that you're using as your dresser in your bedroom, and then you start to look up wood dressers. This is when I love the algorithm and it comes into play. Once you start looking for a particular product on FB Marketplace, it just keeps on kicking you that same type of project in the same type of style that you're looking for. Let's say you're looking for a wood dresser. You could also type in mid-century or MCM as a search term and it will keep delivering these same types of looks to you. A lot of sellers often deliver these heavy bulk items for a really small delivery fee too. So you always want to key into sellers that are local to you. They're not too far away, maybe within like a 5-mile radius, and you might even get free delivery. The next item on today's list are taped posters. You're not in college anymore. Let's rip off all those posters with tapes at the corners, especially if it's lining all of your bedroom walls. Unless you still are in college, so I'm gonna say it's okay if you're in a dorm room. But if you don't want that dorm room look in a grown-up's bedroom, get rid of all those tape posters stat. I'm not saying for you to throw away the posters. Now, a better alternative is to simply place those posters in a frame. You could purchase oversized frames at IKEA for less than $10 for like a 20 by 30 frame. frame. The great thing about IKEA's frame selections is that there's such a variety of different sizes and options out there. They have different frames with acrylic and plastic fronts so that you're not paying a little bit more for a glass front. You remember when DIY was having a really huge moment and washi tape was like everywhere? I remember everyone running out to their local Daiso and just buying this washi tape in bulk, and you would create like all of this random art on the walls with washi tape. You've got your posters, you have your cute little like contrasting washi tape, and then all of a sudden it's lining an entire wall in your bedroom, and it almost looks like wallpaper at that point. If you're a teenager and you're experimenting with art, I love this look. I mean, I think that's the great thing about teenage bedrooms. You're experimenting with colors, you have a certain artist that you like or a certain aesthetic that you love, and that is what you're filling your room with. But as a grown-up in a grown-up space, nothing makes artwork feel more prominent than installing it within a frame. We're not saying you have to purchase a brand new frame. You could also go out to your local thrift store and harvest a bunch of frames that you love, even if you don't necessarily love the artwork that's behind it. That's one of my best designer tips for getting artwork on the fly. I was able to install an entire gallery wall in my guest bathroom renovation for less than $100. I was filling up wall-to-wall artwork. I mean, I had these two huge blank black walls, and I filled it up with over 20 different pieces of artwork, and all less than $100. You could also purchase really inexpensive canvas art at your local thrift store and simply reuse the canvas. You don't have to do anything to the canvas itself. As long as the size of the canvas is larger than the size of your poster, you can just glue that poster right on the canvas, and then boom, all of a sudden you have a beautiful piece of artwork that looks custom made. Another really great tip to elevate the look of your posters after you put it on a canvas is just to apply a really thin layer of Mod Podge, or like this shellac that lacquers the front of the art piece. What you get is a one-of-a-kind piece of custom art that looks luxurious, and bonus points, you made it. The next item on today's list of the things that you should never decorate your home with, and this one I feel to my core, are dead flowers. Show of hands for anyone who has ever saved a bouquet of roses from their ex-boyfriend, like back in high school, and you still have it. You're kind of thumbing through your old yearbook, and there it is, the dead rose that your ex-boyfriend gave you, okay? You gotta get rid of that like ASAP. Dead flowers equals dead energy in feng shui. Feng shui is all about the art of spatial arrangement. We all want to live in a harmonious space. We want to add furniture in our space that not only is functional, but it's also really beautiful and stylish. Feng shui is really huge on symbolism. You want to decorate with things that are auspicious. They bring better energy into the space. They harmonize and balance the space where you are excited about the colors that you bring into the space, and all of those decor items that symbolically align with all of the elements that we're working with. Dead flowers are not only a huge feng shui no-no, but they're also one of those like decorating pet peeves that I have. If you're decorating with dead flowers, chances are the flowers were alive at one time or another. Feng shui loves fresh, active energy. Dead flowers equals dead energy. Dead energy permeates our space. It doesn't allow qi to flow well. Qi looks at a dead flower and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna go into that corner of the room. It just feels like really dead and listless to me. Dead flowers could be anything from a dried up bouquet that you're using to decorate a table. It could also be that bowl of potpourri that you have sitting in the corner of your bathroom. Not only is it collecting dust, but it doesn't even give off any fragrance or scent anymore. It's also that single rose that you have hanging upside down that's right by your window. You need to get rid of all of those dead flowers and replace them with fresh flowers instead. I mean, what an easy upgrade. But of course, I understand fresh flowers every single week. Julie, do you know how expensive that could cost? Yes, I do know how expensive that could be, which is why I am a huge proponent of having fresh greenery in the home. You could go out to your local hardware store. I mean, even Trader Joe's has some of these like little greeneries in little ceramic pots that you can place right on your windowsill just to add a little brightness into the space. Now, there is a really huge difference between dead flowers and artificial flowers. I'm saying don't decorate with dead flowers, but artificial flowers that almost look and feel like the real thing. In feng shui, that's actually acceptable. You could use artificial flowers, faux plants, if they look and feel like the real thing, and you keep them completely clean, like immaculate. You want to keep the leaves dust-free. You want to regularly wipe off all the dust and debris that collects on the petals and the leaves. By doing so, you actually reverse the concept of the decor item being dead, but you're actually using something that feels fresh and alive. One of the common questions that I get asked about dead flowers is, what about pampas grass? Is pampas grass considered a dead flower in feng shui? Technically, pampas grass is a dead flower, but for me personally, as an interior designer and a feng shui practitioner, I find that pampas grass is one of those loopholes to dead flowers. The reason I believe this is because once you cut pampas grass stalks and stems straight from the bush, years later, they still look exactly the same. So if you're ever on the cusp of whether or not you should use a flower that is artificial or dead, always think, did it look like this when it was alive? If the answer is yes, then I would say it's perfectly fine to use it in your space to decorate your space and make it feel a little bit more luxurious. But if it's wilted, it's dusty, if it's like done super dead, then it's time to say goodbye. The next item on today's list of what you should never decorate your home with is trophies and award plaques. I know you peaked in high school back in the heyday. You kind of won every single award there was to give out there. You got the Athlete of the Year award, MVP, President's Award, Best Dress, Biggest Flirt. Oh yes, I'm proud of you, honey. But you know what? That era is over. You know what? We're grown adults now. Do they still give awards and plaques? You know what? They actually do. My husband won a fantasy football trophy. It's the ugliest freaking trophy I've ever seen in my life. He wanted to put that on my beautiful dresser that I purchased for him that's sitting in his closet. I'm like, hell no. That needs to go. It's kind of like the tape posters that is in your teenage or dorm room bedroom, right? Yes, I get it. You're very proud of your accomplishments, but is this a type of conversation starter that you want your guests to have the minute that they walk into your home? Maybe in a private area like your den or your home office, like in the back of the shelf, I might say that that's okay, unless it's like an Emmy, an Oscar, a Grammy. I would say please put your little plastic trophies away. Give it to your mother, give it to your grandmother. I'm sure they have a really huge storage unit where they can put all of your trophies on display. But on the flip side, if you are very proud of your accomplishments, I am going to show you how to style it in a way that makes it feel very intentional, really chic and elevated. One of my best designer tips is to corral all of your trophies and plaques in one area of your home. I love a built-in for this purpose or even a dedicated bookcase. The trick to making this look like a high-end installation versus your high school bedroom is to style it in a way that shows a little bit more of your personality, hobbies, and interests. Use the rule of thirds when styling your bookshelves. Let's say you have like a really tall bronze trophy. You want to style that with two other elements. One that is smaller in scale and something that throws off the entire combination. Let's say you have a trophy. You could also style it with like a little book or a little greenery. Let's say you play baseball and you got a trophy for the most home runs in a season. You could also style the bookshelf with a game-winning ball that all of your teammates signed. Now you've added another element to the bookshelf that feels a little bit more personalized and is definitely more intentional. You see where I'm going here? Decorate with the things you love, decorate it how you want to, but in order to make it feel a little bit more intentional, you have to put a little bit more thought into it. Don't just slap a poster on the wall and call it a day. Add a really unique element, like an element of surprise. Maybe it's a signed guitar that came from your favorite band. Maybe you got a VIP all access backstage pass and you had it on a lariat and you went to this really awesome concert. You could use that to decorate alongside the poster or the trophy or the award plaque, and then all of a sudden you've created not only a composition, but you made a statement for this wall. The next item on today's list of the 8 things that you should never decorate your home with is stuffed animals. Now, I have 2 little girls. One is 4, one is almost 2, and my house is littered with stuffed animals. Did I intentionally decorate it this way? No, oh my gosh, no, I'm trying to get rid of them. But did stuffed animals find their way into my home that all of a sudden they've multiplied? Absolutely. It seems like every time we leave the house, we come back with a brand new stuffed animal. I don't know how that happens. It's like we go out, you see a claw machine, I want to play it. My daughter like sees a Squishmallow and you know, she doesn't have this particular character, so we want to add it to the mix. And then all of a sudden, the sofa in my living room that used to house just like 1 or 2 pillows is now littered with stuffed animals. I always try to clear these off before guests come because you know what, where are they gonna sit? If you're still decorating with Squishmallows or emoji pillows and it's intentional, then I'm gonna tell you, you don't need to get rid of it, okay? Because clearly that is your design intent. But if you're decorating with it because you're like, you know what, I have a young girl's bedroom, I want it to feel like a young girl's bedroom, then yes, that's great. Decorate with all of the stuffed animals that you like. But once those stuffed animals start making their way into your grown adult's bedroom, I'm gonna say, That's when you need to crack the whip. Is there a really stylish way for you to corral a bunch of stuffed animals into a space and still make it look chic and stylish? Here's a sneak preview of my girl's bedroom. Now, I haven't shown you the full makeover because I'm still putting my finishing touches on it, but I do want to show you how I display some of their favorite stuffed animals. I really believe in Montessori-based learning where I don't leave a whole lot of things out. I want my kids to be really intentional with the things that they play with and even their stuffed animals. I'll rotate a lot of the stuffed animals out and leave just their favorites. This allows the space to feel really new, really fresh, really exciting. They don't get bored of all of their toys because I'm kind of rotating it out. And bonus points for it not looking like a toy store threw up in their bedroom. Is there a way to professionally decorate with stuffed animals in a very chic and minimal way? I'm gonna say I'm still looking for that answer. So if you have an image of a room with stuffed animals decorated in a really stylish way, I absolutely want you to send it to me. The next item on today's list that you should never decorate your home with, I mean, at least intentionally, is multicolor strip lighting. I hate multicolor lighting. I don't think it's chic. I don't think it's functional. I mean, are you a TikTok content creator where you need like all sorts of ambient lighting because you're changing up the background and you're dancing to every single scene? If you are, then forget everything I said about strip lighting. But if you are a grown adult in an elevated space, I would say multicolored lighting is better left for parties and events. If you're looking to add under cabinet lighting or strip lighting to your home and you want to invest in something that has a little bit more of a timeless appeal, look for just simple one color light, okay? It could be a warm white, which is my personal favorite. It could be a daylight color. It could be a neutral tone or even a cool tone, but always look for white lighting. I think white lighting, especially with dimmer capabilities, really helps to elevate the look of your home and add strategic lighting to some underused corners. I love strip lighting under cabinets, especially to light a countertop in a kitchen or a bathroom. I also love strip lighting in tray ceilings, ledges, niches, even the toe kicks in your kitchen to add that warm ambient glow. But the minute that you turn it on to a specific color or even one that rotates all of the Roy G. Biv colors, I almost feel like I'm at a rave, you know? The next item on today's list of the 8 things that you should never decorate your home with is oversized beads. I know you know what I'm talking about. You know, those oversized beads and those oversized bowls on an oversized coffee table that's sitting in the middle of your living room. What are those beads even doing there? How did they get there? What are those beads? I can't even recall who started this movement. Was it Joanna Gaines during like Modern Farmhouse? I'm not even sure, but all of a sudden these really huge beads made their way into our decor vernacular and they never left. I know they haven't left because I just recently went to my local Home Goods and there you have it. In the row where all of the home decor goes to die, there are like piles and piles of beads. I understand the appeal. It's this textural element that had a little bit of a contrast versus the hard surfaces of a bowl or your countertop or even a coffee table. It had a really beautiful draping quality. You can kind of splay it on the surface and it looks interesting, but it's just one of those decor items that just look cute. You know, does it serve a purpose? Does it have a function? I'm perfectly okay with decorating your home with objects that you love, that you find fascinating, that you find unique. If you went to temple recently and Great Monk was sitting there making these hand beads and they were kind of giving them out to all of the patrons, that has a purpose. To me, there's sentimental value in those beads and you're decorating with that. But there's no sentimental value or personal value when you just go out to your local big box retailer and just purchase these beads because you feel like you need to decorate your space and you want to fill it up with an item that you found in a store. Those types of decorative items, while they might serve a purpose and they look good just to fill a space, to me don't have longevity. It's one of those things that you'll replace with something that has a better story that's attached to it. Beads handmade at a temple from a monk versus beads that you purchase at Home Goods. Which one do you think will have more sentimental value in your home? And the last item on today's list of the 8 things that you should never decorate your home with is, to me, the most offensive. It is word art. I know you know what word art is. Live, laugh, love, eat, play, bar. At one point or another, I feel like we might have all fallen victim to the graphic appeal of word art. While I never had a poster or a plaque that said live, love, laugh in my home, I did have posters or little plaques that said things like, you know, my kids have 4 feet. This is before I actually had kids and I was raising a bunch of dogs. I also had little quotes that I would frame and kind of place them up on my bookshelf or walls. So I understand why people like word art, but what I'm trying to tell you is that word art does not elevate the look of your home. Another tricky element of decorating with word art is that you're never just satisfied with one piece of word art. It's almost like you need that word art in every single room in the house. You have one in the kitchen, you have one in the entry, you have one lining the stairwell, and then all of a sudden you walk into your home and it's like the home is kind of telling you what to do. I think it's almost as bad as throwing on a sweatshirt and it says like fashion on the front of it. It's like, really? Is that sweatshirt really fashionable just because it has the word fashion on it? You understand what I'm saying? Now, what do you replace all of this word art with instead? It's really simple. Anything other than words. I would probably make a case for like vintage posters with a little bit of graphics or words on it, but just a plaque or a poster with just words alone, it's just not gonna cut it in an elevated space. Think of lining your walls with a really huge statement piece of art. It could even be a gallery of smaller pictures or portraits that you absolutely love. If art is not your thing, how about a patterned or colored wallpaper? I'm loving tiny printed wallpaper. I feel like it could be a really beautiful backdrop to add and layer on more artwork. But at the same time, even if you landed on a really beautiful print, that can act as artwork in itself. That can buy you time before you start layering on other things that speak to your personal aesthetic and home values. That's it for today's video of the 8 things that you should never decorate your home with and what to do instead. This video is not meant to tell you what to decorate your home with, what to remove. It's kind of just giving you options. A lot of us might be decorating with things that we've always had in our home. You might have decor and artwork lining your walls and you haven't switched it out for like the past 10 years. And it's not because you don't want to, it's kind of because you're stuck. Like, what do I replace it with instead? How do I start adding more elements into my space when I'm on a limited budget? The best design advice I can give you for today's video is to pull everything off of your walls and off of your shelves. You're not getting rid of it, you're not donating anything, you're kind of giving your space some breathing room and coming back to it with fresh eyes. You could reuse old canvases and frames, you could donate items that you know you absolutely are not going to use anymore. I love a great purge. I think editing is one of those key design tips that everyone should kind of adopt, especially in a space that you've been looking at for so long. Remember that there's no such thing as a decorating mistake if it is intentional. If you're enjoying this channel and you like this type of content, please give this video a thumbs up, comment below, and let me know from today's roundup, what do you think is the worst offensive decorating mistake? For me, it's the word art. I still go into my friends and family's homes now, and I see the word art on their walls, and I can visualize exactly what that elevation would look like without the word art, and already it could be such a more clean and refined look than what they're going for. If you love this video, definitely check out my entire common design mistakes playlist. I also have a brand new video that I made just a couple of weeks ago on the common design mistakes for your home. We've got tips for the living room, the dining room, the bathroom, pretty much every single room in your home, broken down into really easy to apply tips. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click that little notification bell to be notified of new videos that we drop on the channel every single Thursday. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'm Julie, and I'll see you next week.